Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to Kyazma Medical Academy. My name is Mahanur Ilsa and I am here to teach you biochemistry. The topic which I have chosen for today is vitamins. So we will study at first about vitamins, but we must know that what is vitamin or what are vitamins. So here comes the vitamins. Vitamins are actually the small organic nutrients, and these small organic nutrients are required by our body, but they are required in small quantities, so all these vitamins are not endogenously synthesized in our body. So we must get these vitamins from our diet in order to fulfill the body requirements and in order to carry a variety of biochemical functions. Now we can simply say, what are these vitamins? These are organic nutrients. Now we must be aware about what are the classes of vitamins. Like we are having the two main classification of vitamins. One will come the fat soluble vitamin and another will come the water soluble vitamin. Firstly, we will classify the vitamins into two main groups. Classification of vitamins. One here is the water soluble vitamin. And the another will be fat soluble vitamin. Now come to the water soluble vitamin first. This water soluble vitamin itself is divided into two. One will be the non-B complex and another will be the B complex. Firstly, the non-B complex, and then secondly will be the B complex. With the help of arrows, it will get easy for us to study the classification like this. So, what comes here in non-B complex? Here comes the vitamin C itself. That is the only non-B complex vitamin which is the water soluble vitamin. So, here it's vitamin C. This way. Vitamin C. And the B complex are further divided into three groups. One will be the energy releasing vitamins, another will be the hematopoietic vitamin, and then will come an other class. The energy releasing vitamins at first are energy releasing. The energy releasing, then the hematopoietic, and the other class. The energy releasing are vitamin, now it's vitamin B complex. So we will use like B1, B2, B3, B5 like this. So vitamin B1 at first, that is thiamine. We will read their chemical names and as well as the functional forms after this, after actually completing the classification. It's vitamin B1, then it's vitamin B2, then it's vitamin B3, then it's vitamin B5, and it's biotin. Now come to the hematopoietic. The hematopoietic are only two. That is number 1 vitamin B9 and number 2 it's vitamin B12. We will read their chemical names as well as their active or functional forms also later. And in the others there comes the one and only vitamin B6. Now come to the fat soluble vitamins. These fat soluble vitamins are only 4. They are number 1 it's vitamin A, number 2 it's vitamin D, number 3 it's vitamin E, and number 4 it's vitamin K. So here what we studied at first, what is actually vitamin? Then its classification: water soluble, fat soluble, non-B complex, and B complex and water soluble. Then what are further in B complex and in non-B complex, and then the fat soluble vitamins. This is all about the vitamin and its classification. Now we are having these plenty of vitamins, but from where these vitamins come to us? So we are having sources of vitamins. We here are studying the common or the broad sources of vitamins. Then there will come, when we will go furthermore, there will come the separate sources for vitamin A, for vitamin D. But here we are studying the overall sources of vitamins. They are two: one exogenous and one endogenous. The exogenous, we will say, obviously exogenous will be the diet. Our diet provides us with vitamin, and diet is an external source. It is exogenously required to us for providing us several vitamins and for overcoming the deficiencies will be met if we will get a deficiency of any vitamin. So number one, it's exogenous, and number two will be the endogenous. Endogenous, further are many sources, like number one, intestinal flora. It is strange to know that these vitamins are provided by our intestinal flora also. But this intestinal flora doesn't provide us with all the vitamins. There are some specific vitamins which this intestinal flora synthesizes. They are vitamin K. They are vitamin B12 and its biotin. After that, the next will be the steroid precursor in skin. Many will be aware about it. It's the one and only vitamin D. The steroid precursor in skin produces vitamin D. And after it, we are having the next, that is an amino acid itself produces a vitamin, and that amino acid is tryptophan. This tryptophan amino acid produces a vitamin, and its name is niacin. So here goes the vitamins and its sources. Broadly, exogenous sources obviously from our diet. Endogenously, intestinal flora. It provides us with vitamin K, B12, biotin, and these vitamins are provided endogenously but not in a great amount. So still we require some supplementary sources and also through our food. And this steroid precursor in skin that produces vitamin D, and this tryptophan amino acid. It's an amino acid. Tryptophan is an amino acid. It produces us with niacin. From here, one question will come that what are the endogenously synthesized vitamins? Now we have studied, so simply we will give their names: K, B12, biotin, vitamin D, and niacin. So now we will start individually studying these vitamins. First we will come to the fat soluble vitamins. And in it we will pick up our first vitamin for study, that will be our vitamin A. We must know about this vitamin A. Firstly, we will come to the sources of this vitamin A individually too. As we know that obviously this was not in our endogenous synthesized group, so it is exogenously provided to us through diet. This vitamin A is actually stored in liver. Our body don't provide us with vitamin A, but our body stores it in liver. So, next question can come to our mind. If vitamin A is stored in liver, what are the other vitamins which are stored in liver? Other vitamins stored in liver. Others stored in liver. It's vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B9, that is our folate, and its supplementary form is folic acid, that we will come to it later. Then it's vitamin B12, that is cobalamin. So here comes vitamin A stored in liver, other vitamins stored in liver, A, D, folate and B12. Now come to the individual sources of vitamin A. Vitamin A is provided to us by plants and by animal foods also. So in animal foods, firstly we will come to the sources of vitamin A, the animal sources, and the form here is retinol ester. Retinol ester. As retinol ester. Animal sources are as retinol ester. So here we can notice one thing, that actually what happens when we get to an older, not older, an elderly age, like 40, 35, women like above 35, men like above 40, in our homes, in our countries, in our states, what happens, everybody takes that Revital medicine. Actually, when we will go to its composition, that Revital contains the fish oil. So that fish oil now here provides us with vitamin A, and it is from an animal. Fish is an animal. Now the first will be the oily fishes. First animal source, oily fishes, and another will be the fish liver oil. Fish liver oil. In fish liver oil, we will take an example of cod liver oil. For example, cod liver oil. Then milk and milk products also provides us with vitamin A. Milk and milk products. Also, when we will eat the liver of an animal, obviously we eat of that sheep, ram, and this cow, buffalo, that will provide us with vitamin A, this liver and the egg yolk. Egg yolk also contains the HDL. Now, animal sources, and now come to the plant sources. The plant sources as beta carotene. Beta carotene. We can memorize like carotene. Carotene मिलता है word carrot से. तो पहला plant source is here carrot. Just to remember that carotene, carrot. Then after carrot, this will be mango. Favorite fruit of many people, mango. It will get easier for us to remember these sources of vitamin A. After mango, come to papaya, and then come to green leafy vegetables, which many people don't eat. Green leafy vegetables, and this green leafy vegetable provides us with vitamin A, so it will be very beneficial for us if we will eat these green leafy vegetables to prevent the deficiencies of vitamin A. So green leafy vegetables and many more fruits which provides us with vitamin A. Now, vitamin A stored in liver, other vitamins stored in liver, A, D, folate and B12. Sources of vitamin A individually, the animal sources as retinol ester, plant sources as beta carotene. In animal sources, these oily fishes, fish liver oil, milk, egg yolk, etc. Plant sources: mango, papaya, green leafy vegetables, fruits. Now, we will study about the chemical names of the vitamin A. I didn't told about the chemical names in functional forms. I was talking about that I will tell, but that got skipped. Now what we will do, like we are studying vitamin A, so we will study its chemical name, its functional form also. What are the chemical names of vitamin A? The chemical names. And from these chemical names we will come to the relative functions of this vitamin A. Chemical names and the functional forms of these chemical names. The chemical names of vitamin A are retinol, then its retinol, and its retinoic acid. And the functional forms are the same for vitamin A. The chemical names and functional forms are the same for vitamin A. Functional forms are also retinol, retinol, and retinoic acid. Now, come to the functions. What are the functions of vitamin A? What are the functions of vitamin A? Number one, the most important function of vitamin A, every old person in our home tells us to eat carrots, that they will improve your vision. You will not have to wear these spectacles and all these things. So number one function of vitamin A will be, vitamin A helps us in vision. How it helps us in vision? By synthesizing the visual pigments in the photoreceptor cells of our eye. The photoreceptor cells of our eye are two cells, rods and cones. We will come to some extra knowledge that these rods help us in dim light vision and these cone cells help us in the color vision, in the day vision. Now, there are some visual pigments contained in these rods and cones. The rod cells contains the visual pigment rhodopsin and the cone cells contain the visual pigment iodopsin. We will write down functions. Number one, helps in vision. It helps us in vision by synthesizing the visual pigments. That's here. I said it, so I will not write it again here. Number two, this vitamin A now protects us from infection. Protects from infection. How this vitamin A protects us from infection? Actually, this vitamin A maintains some immune cells in our body. It is required for the maintenance of some immune cells in our body. In this way, this vitamin A protects us from infection. And then the next function will be, it helps in the differentiation of tissues and it helps in the maintenance of tissues. So, what the vitamin A will do the next? These tissues, our cells divide, they form the tissues, then our body grows, our cell mass grows. So, this vitamin A, as it helps in the maintenance and differentiation of tissues and cells, so now it will promote growth in us. Next function of vitamin A will be, vitamin A promotes growth. Now, come to these chemical names. These chemical names like retinol, retinol, its active or functional form, retinol, retinol, these two also helps us. Like vitamin A helps us, but inside the vitamin A, the retinol, retinol helps in spermatogenesis, formation of sperm or spermatozoa in males. These helps in spermatogenesis in males. Helps in spermatogenesis in males. And these retinol and retinol again helps in females for the process of fetal resorption. Helps It is responsible for fetal resorption. It is responsible for fetal resorption in females. There are many more functions of vitamin A, like specifically epithelial tissues. These help in the differentiation of epithelial tissues. Now, there are some main functions of vitamin A, which I told you, and here comes the chemical name, functional form. Functional form is also called as the active form. So, this is all about the functions of vitamin A. We will come to a detailed topic of vitamin A. Here it's vitamin A. That will be the visual cycle. Visual cycle is also known as the rhodopsin cycle and also known as the Wald's visual cycle. The visual cycle or the rhodopsin cycle or the Wald's visual cycle. This visual cycle involves the visual pigments. Obviously, they are the two. This visual cycle involves the visual pigments which will help in the process of seeing the objects, seeing the people. So, these visual pigments are present in the photoreceptor cells of our eye, and our eye has two photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells of our eye, they are two. Number one is the rod cells and number two are cones. This rod, which helps us in dim light vision, will contain a visual pigment, and the name of the visual pigment of the rod cells is rhodopsin. Rhodopsin, and the name of the visual pigment of the cone cell is iodopsin. These two are the visual pigments in the photoreceptor cells of our eye, and the photoreceptor cells of our eye are these rods and cones. Now, this visual cycle will deal with the rhodopsin visual pigment of the photoreceptor cell rods of our eye. Now, how these rhodopsin pigment will form the intermediates, we will study in this visual cycle those intermediates. Actually, we will study the visual cycle a little bit in detail. So, here the visual cycle. Visual cycle. Now, what happens at first? When the rod cells comes to the light exposure, upon light exposure, especially upon dim light exposure, this is the dim light. When this dim light will fall on our rod cells of our eye, there will be the rhodopsin pigment which will get activated, and this rhodopsin pigment will get converted into meta-rhodopsin 2. This meta-rhodopsin 2 is required for nerve generation or nerve excitation. Then, this meta-rhodopsin will get converted to two things. Number one will be a protein, that is opsin. Now, what is opsin? Opsin will be a protein. And the another thing will be all trans-retinal. This is a prosthetic group. Dim light felt on the rod cells of the eye, Rhodopsin pigment, metarrhodopsin 2, nerve generation or nerve excitation, metarrhodopsin 2, opsin protein and 11 trans retinal or prosthetic group. Now, come here. How this metarrhodopsin 2 is formed? How? From where? Rhodopsin actually at first will form the luminar rhodopsin. Then this luminar rhodopsin at first will form the metarrhodopsin 1. Then this metarrhodopsin 1 will form the metarrhodopsin 2. We came to know that this metarrhodopsin 2 is required for nerve generation and nerve excitation. But what is actually this metarrhodopsin 2? It is actually an intermediate which is responsible for the visual excitation. Listen carefully that metarrhodopsin 2 is an intermediate that is responsible for visual excitation, and there comes some variety of chemical reactions. They are known as the GMP cascade pathway. We will not now here go to the GMP cascade pathway, that will get a bit longer for us. We will just write it is an intermediate for visual excitation, and it is somehow related to the GMP cascade. This GMP has its full form: guanosine monophosphate cascade pathway. So this we came to know what is metarrhodopsin and how it is actually formed from this rhodopsin visual pigment. Now come to here. This metarrhodopsin gets divided into opsin protein and 11 trans retinal. Now this 11 trans retinal, with the help of the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase in the liver, with the help of enzyme named as alcohol dehydrogenase in the liver, will get converted to 11 trans retinol. All trans retinol. And now, with the help of isomerase enzyme, this all trans retinol will now get converted to 11 cis retinol, and this 11 cis retinol again with the help of the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme will get converted to 11 cis retinal. This is very important for us. Now, this opsin, here comes this opsin, and this 11 cis retinal actually forms the rhodopsin visual pigment present in the rod cells, the photoreceptor rod cells of our eye. One last thing here, this all trans retinal, which is a prosthetic group, this all trans retinal can directly form this 11 cis retinal. But how? This all trans retinal can directly form the 11 cis retinal with the help of an enzyme, that is the isomerase enzyme. We got our vitamin A in our diet. From our diet, it went to our blood. Then, from our blood, we will see on many books, there is a short description. Vitamin A through diet, gone to blood. After blood, it will get through this. What was in a little detail was this thing. and the formation of metarhodopsin and what was actually metarhodopsin and the involvement of these enzymes. So this is all about the visual cycle, the Walsh visual cycle or the rhodopsin cycle. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, thank you for watching me, watching our master Dr. Muzammil sir, and thank you for watching this Chiasma Academy. And now I want you people that you all must subscribe this channel on YouTube and follow this page on Facebook. Here's at Chiasma Medical Academy. So please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you.